Jeanette from Uganda, Vanessa from Ghana, that was me there, and Flora from Tanzania. We had gone to Tanzania for a youth camp in Puku Forest, but that was, who can recognize this place? It's very close by, hint, hint. If you recognize it, G5K, Muri. The top picture there was with my Global Health Corps Fellowship alumni. There was such a big family for me in Uganda, so that was us. Last year, they would call me so that I don't feel lonely and far from home. Okay, now more to the necessary part of our conversation. So we're going to have a chat about media coverage of women in politics, in the global context, Africa and Zambia. Right after high school, I had an opportunity to do a research as part of my maybe certificate in ICT of how the media covers women in general, and there were interesting findings. Of course, we know the stereotype, women are sexualized, most reports are personality-based and whatnot, but we'll get into that. So, there's a concept I want you to look up. If you're taking notes, you can write this down. It's called cross-field collaboration. Cross-field collaboration, but we'll come back to that as we close. I'll ask about it. Cross-field collaboration might be a potential solution to how we cover women in politics. So a brief look at the global context for key trends globally. Maybe we'll just look at 1 point each so that I don't bore you. Generally, women in politics, we know there's a gender bias. Like we talked about yesterday, mostly when the media covers women in politics, it's personality based. It's very emotional. They want to know what's going on in your house and your kitchen, as opposed to what you can do for your community. The case study would be Hillary Clinton, who pretty much the entire time they covered her, it wasn't about her policy suggestions mostly. It wasn't really about what she could do for the people of the United States. It was about what she was wearing, or that her husband cheated on her X amount of years ago, and that really hinders the work that we're trying to do. So you can look up some interesting findings from the Global Media Monitoring Study, which was published in 2020. Of all the political stories globally, only 25% of them cover women politicians. So that's not good for global coverage. So even on a global level, we're struggling a little. In the African context, Rwanda stands out as an example of what should be going on. So they have a gender-inclusive coverage. They have established themselves as global leaders in with like the women. I think yesterday we looked at how Rwanda has those quotas, the gender quotas in parliament. X amount of seats have to be filled by women. So because they've been deliberate about the youth and gender quotas, that's why they're achieving some sort of equality when it comes to leadership, but it's also reflected in the coverage because the law is allowing for women to shine. So that's for Rwanda. I think you can look up more studies from the UN, but an interesting statistic there is that in Africa, again, of all the politics that are reported in the media, only 20% are covering women politicians. Before I talk about the Zambian context, I want to introduce you to an interesting personality in the Zambian political arena. Her name is Professor Nkanduluo. So Professor Nkanduluo has been a politician. You can look her up if you want. But one interesting thing about her is that She spearheaded very interesting research in malaria. I think she was part of the team that found out that actually it's not all mosquitoes that cause malaria. It's the female mosquito. She was the first doctor in Zambia to confirm a case of HIV/AIDS in the 90s. So she's done some big things, And she wasn't a professor for AI. She was a professor when you actually had to study. Back in the day. So she's done some amazing things. And she served as an MP. Later, she got into politics for several constituencies. Interesting thing.